Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Minecraft. We are back here in the single player survival world again, and we are going to be doing something a little bit different in today's episode. As you can see, we have some new fancy schmancy shaders on today, and these are ray tracing shaders. I would love to take a tour around our world with ray tracing. I think it'd be so much fun to walk around here, see everything that we can find. And as you can see inside of our palace right now, the light is totally different depending on where you are standing. And I think it is so very cool. There's a little bit of a difference between these shaders and the ones I normally use. But anyways, I wanted to just take a scenic tour around our world today and do an impromptu world tour because these things have been absolutely amazing to me. I've been wandering around quite a bit with them. They are the Voyager shaders. They are currently in a beta version, and you do need a graphics card that is able to support RTX shader, ray tracing, all that fancy stuff that I don't know the proper word for. But anyways, let's start wandering around. I thought this would be an awesome place to start here because we have all of this sugarcane and there's so many areas for the light to follow through. We did swap over to spectator mode so we can move a little bit more slowly throughout this area, but as you can see, it's still kind of a work in progress thing with how it interacts with the sugarcane, it looks like. But overall, you can see the little different rays of light coming from everywhere, and I think that stuff is so very cool. I will say though, these are very atmospheric. Of all the ones I've looked at quite a few ray tracing shader packs to see which one I thought we would enjoy the most here on the channel. And this one was the one I came across that I enjoyed the most. But as you can see, we jump through this little gap right here. Everything instantly just gets darker and the light outside is so much brighter. And as you enter into the rooms, it totally changes the atmosphere. I cannot wait for more of this stuff to be officially added into our Minecraft world here because there's so many different options that you can use this for, and I think it's really going to make these worlds amazing. I do hope that the Nvidia one coming out here is going to have support for all of the different platforms and everything like that, because I think it is so cool to come through all these places. Specifically, I'm curious to see how these interact with the Nether and how they're going to be doing that one. I will say though, everything kind of gets a little muted. I feel like the atmosphere side of things goes a little bit stronger than anything else. And you lose a lot of those good contrasty colors that you see in a lot of the regular shaders. Like normally I'm using Silder's shader, which I personally find as my own favorite one out of all of them because I love the contrast that it brings. The shadows are a little bit darker and the colors get a little bit more yellowy and bright and happy, and just so much more going on with them. But these are really cool. These ones I love because the clouds actually have volumetric clouds on top of them. So if the sun goes behind the clouds like it is right now, you'll actually see it start to get darker in this area, like the clouds are actually casting a shadow on the landscape, which I think is very, very cool. And this whole place, this whole desert village that we're at here, you can see the clouds coming over off to the left side here, where it's just so much darker. I think that type of stuff is really cool that we can add into the world and just make it so much more interesting. I think the desert is a very light and bright place, and we probably aren't getting too many cool shadows throughout here because we don't have that many trees. We got a good collection of palm trees, but overall there's not too many. I was thinking we could come over here real fast and check out down in the Oasis. Well, we are under cloud coverage, unfortunately. I think it should look pretty dang cool down here. You know what? With the clouds and everything down here, it is pretty freaking cool. I gotta say, this is really, really nice. I was not really expecting how different it would be here with all the clouds and everything. As you can see, as we're approaching this dock down here, it's pretty cool looking. The reflection off of the water and everything, it's so very cool. I like how the water still feels Minecrafty. It doesn't feel like a super fast moving water that we normally see in shader packs where everything is built off like waves of the ocean. Like this is supposed to be a little pond in an oasis. The water would be pretty flat, so I like how it's echoing that in there. And I'm hopeful for where these are going to go. Do you all think that you would, if you had the ability to, would you be playing with the ray tracing shaders, or do you all like the regular Minecraft stuff? I'll try and leave a poll up in the corner here. Let me know what y'all think. Do you like shaders, or do you prefer just plain old Minecraft? Do you think this stuff is being overhyped a little bit too much? I'm really curious to hear all your thoughts on that, because I know some people are very impartial or very partial to just the regular default Minecraft look. No shaders, nothing, just get us our nice little colors out here. So let me know on that one. One thing I was really excited to be checking out with these shaders was this forested pathway where we have these trees covering over the area so much. And I wanted to see how the light started to play with the environment. And I gotta say, this is pretty dang cool. I think they did a pretty good job on how this all works here. Just the way the shadows play on the ground is so natural. Even having the bushy leaves in here, you can see it all really down to the corners of the blocks themselves, and even with that, it's starting to round out, which I think is so cool. But I just wanted to very, very quickly run through this pathway with you all and see just what it looked like with all of the the shadows coming throughout here. I think it turned out really, really cool. I love this. I really like these shaders. Y'all have to let me know what your thoughts are on this one. We are loading in the rest of everything throughout the world here, the very, very big part of our city, so things might get a little laggy and framey here for a second while these chunks start to load in, because I'm sure these shaders are going to be trying to do a lot of work underneath that custom terrain that we have. But let's take a quick look over here into the vineyard, and we can drop down into here, and I'm curious to see how this all looks with the castle in the background and everything. I will say though, the windows themselves on the castle, like everything over there, it's pretty dark behind the windows, but it's also because there's no interior on those, so that might be something that we need to do and fix up so that it works its way going around here. I think that might be something that we can probably fix up pretty well ourselves. Let's see if we can get a good reflection of the castle down here from the water. Can we get that? Do we see that? Ooh, the water doesn't reflect that clearly, so you know, it's probably a bit more of a realistic reflection of everything. But maybe if we come out here to where the water's a little bit deeper and we start to lose the colors of that dirt underneath, ooh, you can kind of start to see the castle down there a little bit, which is very, very cool. I love that a lot. That actually turned out really, really sweet. The rest of the vineyard, however, we really need to fix that windmill up here. But the vineyard itself is looking pretty dang cool, I gotta say. I gotta hand it to the Voyager shaders here. These things are pretty epic. Coming down into our village, we do have a lot of light sources in here, because I was wanting to make sure everything looked very, very finished and safe for our villagers down here when we originally did this one. But I will say there's not a whole lot of shadow being cast off of these torches, or not a whole lot of a glow on them. That would be kind of nice if there's a little bit more of a glow here. I guess you can kind of see it when you look close at them, but overall there isn't a whole lot of it going on. Especially under this tree, it's very, very dark. I feel like the sunlight in this pack at least is very much the controlling factor for light throughout here. They don't really use the pointed lights or the positional lights or whatever we want to call these little torches and lanterns and things hanging around here. I feel like that's something, a little bit of a missed opportunity. You could make that a little bit better, I think. I was messing with the config of the shaders a little bit here and was able to get ourselves to a point where the light should be a lot warmer and brighter from torches and lanterns and all those things. So I'm excited to see what it is inside of here. I would actually like to just temporarily change this over to add in some nighttime here and see what that all looks like. So let's do a little time add, and we'll add in like 8,000 right here. I know that's bringing us into a little bit of the not so survival side of things, but I think that's all fine. We're just adding time to the game and making the day go by a little bit faster. All right, here we are. This is what I was hoping to see. Look at those. The light sources are really white though. The lights themselves are still that kind of whitish color, but overall, outside of those, we're getting a really cool like red hazy glow around this area, which I think is really cool. This is really where you can see the ray tracing coming to life with all of the way the light is playing around with the shadows and everything, and as you walk closer to them, the rest of the world gets a little bit darker. So like right here, everything else becomes a bit darker, then you walk away, and I think that type of stuff is really cool. And the stars out up above us, oh my gosh, that is really cool looking. I know it's probably very, very dark for y'all here and very, very foggy, but I want to just take a chance to look at the front of our city here. As you can see, all of the just different textures and lights and everything coming in here, taken into effect. I think it's very, very cool. I think almost we could remove some of those torches from down below. I think we could take quite a few of those out, and it might give us a more of a cool ambience at the nighttime here. But overall, I think these city streets are starting to look really, really cool. There's a few sections I would love to check out. I know it's very, very dark for y'all, but let's take just a little bit of a gander over here and see what we can find. All right, one thing I really, really wanted to touch on was inside of here where we built that little market square. Let's see, how does this look? It's very, ooh, that's kind of nice. That's pretty cool. I like that. I do wish these lights were more colored though. I wish there was a little bit more of a red to the light itself, but that is pretty dang cool. And if we jump down into the sewers, which are down below us, we can come on into our sewer section over here that should just be pitch black basically. This does get a pretty cool look to it, though. That dark ambient light there on the, or the darkness with just that single bit of light over there. That is really, really sweet. I do like that a lot. Coming back over to the daytime side of things, I thought we could jump up to the mountains and see how those look while all these shaders. And first and foremost, right here, the darkness that is coming off of these cliffs, like right below the cliffs themselves, especially up to that center right side. I love that. That is so very cool. I was thinking we could take this pathway as we go through a small cave here to get ourselves up on top of the mountains. I think something like this could look really, really cool, especially just kind of as you jump into this dark little cave here, and just it winds its way up to the top, and we come on out here into our nice little forest that we've been working on recently. I think something like this. I feel like this is where these shaders can really shine, especially with our lovely shulker boxes around us. But coming up throughout this forest that we've been slowly working on and slowly building up over the streams and everything, I think this part right here is looking really, really cool. So if we look at this image right here, these are the current way that we have with these shaders, and I want to show you all a little bit of a side-by-side of the shaders that I normally use versus these one here to give a bit of a critique to them. And now we are over in Silder's Vibrant, the brand new ones, the most recent updated ones. And I personally, I feel like this has a lot more characteristic to it. There's a lot more vibrance to it, where if you, let's jump back over, and you'll see it just kind of has a blue hazy look for all of the ray tracing bits. And back over into the ray tracing, you kind of see that blue hazy bit that I was talking about there, but it is pretty cool when we're looking throughout this area still, regardless. I think this is probably much more of a realistic color, where the other one, the shaders that I like to use, are very much, they're high contrasty, very much built for playing a video game, where these are meant to echo what it looks like in real life, which I think is, it's its own style. It's very different. I think they're both very cool in their own right, though. But coming up here to the snow, I wanted to see how this interacted with the snow in our mountains, to see if we still get a lot of detail and depth inside of our mountains up here, which I think we still do. It looks like we're getting a good amount of that stuff up there with our plane coming over the top of the mountains, all the snow up there. I think once we can get like the forested section finished all the way over there as well, then it's going to look really, really sweet. But you can see our little fishies hanging out here in the water. Our salmon love this lake up here. They're all just hanging out, watching all of the world go by and everything. And the mountains with this, oh my gosh, look at those rendering in the background there. Look at all of that coming together. That is crazy looking. The way the shadows are playing off of that, it looks smooth. That doesn't look like a blocky structure. That looks very, very smoothed out. And now as we get closer, you can kind of start to see the details in it as we get those little shadows are triggering. But the overall large shadow that was on there, I think it's caused by the peak of this mountain itself. That is crazy how it's bringing everything down there and just creating that one cohesive texture. If we come back out over here, you'll see that a little bit here again as everything kind of smooths in together. And I really like that. A village I have back here in the middle of our dark oak forest, which I don't typically show off too much, is something that I thought would be very cool because it's in a dark oak forest, meaning that there is going to be a lot of shadows and darker areas throughout. But I think this will be something pretty cool as we can get a lot of the reflections in the surrounding area, especially off of like the rocky faces, and the leaves are actually distributing light throughout the area inside of these shaders. And I think it looks pretty dang cool. All this village is basically this little section right here with some houses around the outside, and I like it. This is really cool looking. Apparently some villagers made their way over here. I think these are the old school original Minecraft villagers as well, so those have been here for quite a long time. But this outside area in here is super sweet. I like how we can see the little bits of the sun rays poking through the trees on top of our wool blocks and everything. I think that adds a cool bit of extra color and life into here, and those guys really, really like that area. There's a lot of villagers down here. There was one final section back here which was built to be very, very dark and hidden in the forest, of kind of like a training ground for maybe a militia that's out here of archers. This was our Robin Hood village after all, so we had to include an archery range, and that's pretty sweet. I like that one. It's very hidden back here, and it doesn't feel too bright either, but it still feels like you could be inside of this area and not be like living in darkness, which I feel like dark oak forests sometimes can. They typically can look something like that, whereas if we hide the light source, everything kind of gets that nice glow to it, instead of staring at the sun, where everything does get very, very dark in the surrounding area. quickly flying across the swampland area, we're going to be coming over to our last stop for today. Today's little shaders tour, which I hope you all did enjoy. If you all want to see more stuff like this, where we're testing out different parts of new things coming to Minecraft inside of our own world, let me know. I'd be happy to look into a few other ones. Maybe there's some other texture packs or things like that you all have been curious how the world looks inside of those. Let me know down in the comments below. But coming over to our lovely castle Bleak Rock, I want to see how this structure looked like in with these lovely shaders, because a few of the areas do have interiors to them. Like this one right over here, there's actually an interior behind this. So I was curious what it's going to look like through the glass itself, because this glass right here is actually, I believe that's like a white stained glass pane, but inside of here it still is pretty dark, but I guess you get a good amount of light and color inside of there. I think we need to retrofit that with some new lanterns or something like that. But this side, ooh, I like that. That's very cool. I think my favorite part of this one right now is one of those chests that I keep leaving there forever. But this is how you can kind of see the ocean waves rolling throughout here. When it's in this larger body of water, I feel like the water pattern is different almost. And you can definitely see, because it's deeper here, we can definitely see the reflection of the castle down below, which I think is very, very sweet. It brings a lot of extra life to this area. I think the water like this, it can be very cool, but it can also be a little weird. And we got a nice little dolphin jumping around there in the water too. But like when we get the kelp out here and everything, that's where I think it can look really cool, because you get that little bit of green stuff. I just wish kelp didn't always grow to the top of the water and the surrounding areas. If you play in one area inside your Minecraft world for too long, all you're going to see around you is full kelp. But then you travel anywhere else, and you're not going to have very much kelp. And we have a donkey out here. Hey, buddy. I guess we need to come out and tame you. I've been looking for a donkey. And our small fishing village out here, too, with the castle in the background. This right here gets a very, very cool sense of atmosphere to it. I think that itself is very, very awesome. I love this one. But anyways, everybody, that's going to have to do it for today's video. I hope you all did enjoy this little bonus extra one looking at ray tracing shaders inside of Minecraft. Please be sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you on the flip side.